Once upon a time, nestled deep in a valley where the hills curled like sleeping foxes and the breeze sang lullabies to the trees, there was a tiny village made entirely of wood. Wooden houses, wooden lanterns, even wooden shoes that made soft tapping sounds on cobblestone paths. The people who lived there were gentle folk, who whispered more than they shouted and smiled more than they frowned. In this quiet village lived a small girl named Nella, who had eyes the color of dewdrops and a heart full of wonder. She spent her days wandering through the fields, collecting shiny stones, fallen feathers, and leaves that danced in the wind. But what Nella loved more than anything else in the world was light. She loved sunlight as it filtered through the trees, loved candlelight at dinner when her family sat close together, and most of all, she adored the old lantern her grandmother kept by the window. It was carved from cherry wood, with panes of cloudy glass, and it flickered not with fire, but with a soft golden glow that never went out. "This is the listening lantern," her grandmother whispered one evening as they watched its glow. "It only shines for those who truly listen with their ears, their hearts, and their kindness." Nella didn't quite understand what that meant, but she listened anyway. One crisp autumn morning, the village awoke to something strange. The leaves, which usually turned golden and amber and fell gently to the ground, had vanished. The trees were bare, as if the leaves had flown away in the night. Nella wandered outside, puzzled. The ground was not crunchy, the wind had no rustle, and the sky seemed confused without the bright colors of fall. She tiptoed to the forest's edge and whispered, "Where have you gone, little leaves?" And then, as if in answer, a single leaf came spinning down from the sky. But it wasn't a red or yellow leaf. It was silver. It glimmered like moonlight and sparkled like the stars. The leaf floated gently into her hands. As she held it, a soft voice echoed in her mind, "The trees are worried, child of the valley. The wind has stolen their voices. Without their songs, the world may forget how to dream." Nella gasped. "What can I do?" "Find the whispering wind," the leaf replied, "and remind it how to listen." Nella packed her warmest sweater, a satchel with a tiny bread roll, and the listening lantern. As she stepped beyond the edge of the village, the lantern began to glow softly, lighting her path. She walked past sleepy fields, over babbling brooks, and into forests that held their breath. Everywhere she went, the silence was thick. The birds didn't sing, the leaves didn't fall. It was as if the world had paused. As night fell, Nella curled beneath a tree, holding the lantern close. Its light pulsed gently, like a lullaby without words. In her dreams, she heard whispers, echoes of lullabies, laughter, wind chimes, and distant songs. The world missed its voice. When she awoke, the lantern glowed brighter, and before her stood a peculiar creature, half cloud, half bird, with feathers made of mist and eyes like whirlpools. "Are you the whispering wind?" Nella asked. The creature bowed. "I was, but no one listened anymore. So I stopped whispering. I thought, perhaps they didn't need me." Nella stepped closer. "But we do. The trees are scared, the dreams are fading, and the leaves have flown to the corners of the sky." The wind finished softly. "They wanted someone to listen." She held up the lantern. "I brought this. It listens. Maybe it can help you remember." The wind peered at the lantern. Its light shimmered like a memory. Slowly, the mist creature circled it. It began to hum soft at first, then stronger, as if remembering its favorite song. Then, with a gust that tickled Nella's nose and swirled her hair into a dance, the whispering wind leapt into the sky. Leaves rained down, red, gold, orange, and a few shimmering silver ones. They spun and twirled, laughing like old friends returned. The trees sighed in relief. The birds chirped timidly, and far away, the hills sighed and rolled over in their sleep. Nella returned to the village, the lantern now glowing more brightly than ever. That evening, every home placed a small candle in the window. The villagers didn't ask where she had gone. They simply sat quietly, listening, and the wind sang. From that day on, Each autumn, children would gather in the center of the village with tiny lanterns of their own, some carved from wood, some made of glass, others painted with stars or clouds. They would sit in a circle, close their eyes, and listen. If you passed by the valley on those days, you might hear it to a hush, a hum, and a swirl of laughter on the wind, and you might see a single silver leaf drifting down, landing softly at your feet, because sometimes the world just wants to be heard, and sometimes it takes a small girl with kind eyes and a lantern that listens to remind us all. The end.